vegan, because we can't be that cruel.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
He transcends all wisdom and is above all intellect and is above all glory and is above all beauty and all sweetness and all greatness and any depth and any height. Please continue watching for the ancient Gnostic teachings of the Nag Hammadi's Holy Scriptures.
If you ever visit remarkable Belgium, you could connect with the locals with the friendly phrase "Hoe gaat het met u?" It means "How are you?" in Dutch, one of the official languages of this European kingdom. Caring viewers, I am Lucas. The gracious people of Belgium count their blessings every day and endeavor to save many innocent beings by simply being vegan. Thank you too for heroically adopting this benevolent diet. May the divine bless us all and our planet. Welcome to Aeonic Emanations from the Gnostic Nag Hammadi Library, Part 1 of 2 on Words of Wisdom. The Nag Hammadi Library is a collection of early Christian and Gnostic manuscripts, also called codices, discovered in 1945 near the Upper Egyptian town of Nag Hammadi. The general dating of the books varies from the 2nd to the 4th century. The collection includes 13 ancient books containing over 50 spiritual texts. The discovery and translation of these scriptures helped scholars to re-evaluate early Christian history and the nature of Gnosticism, a Christian movement originating in the 1st and 2nd centuries that emphasized gnosis. Gnosis means the direct knowing or acquaintance of the divine through esoteric experience. Today, the precious Nag Hammadi manuscript collection is housed in the Coptic Museum in Cairo, Egypt. Today, we will read a selection from the tripartite tractate of the Nag Hammadi Library, where we will find how words are used in an attempt to describe the indescribable and inconceivable one. The Father. Not one of the names which are conceived or spoken, seen or grasped, not one of them applies to him, even though they are exceedingly glorious, magnifying, and honored. However, it is possible to utter these names for his glory and honor in accordance with the capacity of each of those who give him glory. Yet, as for him in his own existence, being, and form, it is impossible for mind to conceive him, nor can any speech convey him, nor can any eye see him, nor can anybody grasp him, because of his inscrutable greatness, and his incomprehensible depth, and his immeasurable height, and his illimitable will. This is the nature of the unbegotten one, which does not touch anything else, nor is it joined to anything in the manner of something which is limited. Rather, he possesses this constitution without having a face or a form, things which are understood through perception, whence also comes the epithet, the incomprehensible. If he is incomprehensible, then it follows that he is unknowable, that he is the one who is inconceivable by any thought, invisible by anything, ineffable by any word, untouchable by any hand. He alone is the one who knows himself as he is, along with his form and his greatness and his magnitude. And since he has the ability to conceive of himself, to see himself, to name himself, to comprehend himself, he alone is the one who is his own mind, his own eye, his own mouth, his own form, and he is what he thinks, what he sees, what he speaks, what he grasps, himself, the one who is inconceivable, ineffable, incomprehensible, immutable, while sustaining, joyous, true, delightful, and restful, is that which he conceives, that which he sees, that about which he speaks, that which he has as thought. He transcends all wisdom, and is above all intellect, and is above all glory, and is above all beauty, and all sweetness, and all greatness, and any depth, and any height. If this one who is unknowable in his nature, to whom pertain all the greatnesses which I already mentioned, if out of the abundance of his sweetness he wishes to grant knowledge, so that he might be known, he has the ability to do so. He has his power, which is his will. Now, however, in silence, he himself holds back, he who is the Great One, who is the cause of bringing the totalities into their eternal being. It is in the proper sense that he begets himself as ineffable, since he alone is self-begotten, since he conceives of himself, and since he knows himself as he is. What is worthy of his admiration and glory and honor and praise, he produces because of the boundlessness of his greatness, and the unsearchability of his wisdom, and the immeasurability of his power, and his untastable sweetness. He is the one who projects himself thus as generation, having glory and honor, marvelous and lovely, the one who glorifies himself, who marvels, honors, who also loves, the one who has a son, who subsists in him, who is silent concerning him, who is the ineffable one in the ineffable one, the invisible one, the incomprehensible one, the inconceivable one in the inconceivable one. Thus he exists in him forever. The Father, in the way we mentioned earlier, in an unbegotten way, is the one in whom he knows himself, who begot him, having a thought, which is the thought of him, that is the perception of him, that is in the proper sense the silence and the wisdom and the grace. Aeonic Emanations. The Church exists in the dispositions and properties in which the Father and the Son exist. Therefore it subsists in the procreations of innumerable aeons. Also, in an uncountable way, they too beget by the properties and the dispositions in which it, the Church, exists. For these comprise its association which they form toward one another and toward those who have come forth from them toward the Son, for whose glory they exist. Therefore, it is not possible for mind to conceive of him. He was the perfection of that place, nor can speech express them, for they are ineffable and unnameable and inconceivable. They alone have the ability to name themselves and to conceive of themselves, for they have not been rooted in these places. Those of that place are ineffable and innumerable in the system which is both the manner and the size, the joy, the gladness of the unbegotten, nameless, unnameable, inconceivable, invisible, incomprehensible one. It is the fullness of paternity, so that his abundance is a begetting of the aeons. They were forever in thought, for the Father was like a thought and a place for them. When their generations had been established, the one who is completely in control wished to lay hold of and to bring forth that which was deficient. But since he is as he is a spring, which is not diminished by the water which abundantly flows from it. While they were in the Father's thought, that is, in the hidden depth, the depth knew them, but they were unable to know the depth in which they were, nor was it possible for them to know themselves, nor for them to know anything else. That is, they were with their Father and did not exist for themselves. Rather, they only had existence in the manner of a seed, so that it has been discovered that they existed like a fetus. Like the Word, He begot them, and the ones whom He was to beget had not yet come into being from Him. The one who first thought of them, the Father, not only so that they might exist for Him, but also that they might exist for themselves as well, that they might then exist in His thought as mental substance, and that they might exist for themselves too, sowed a thought like a seed. Now, in order that they might know what exists for them, He graciously granted the initial form, while in order that they might recognize who is the Father, who exists for them, He gave them the name Father by means of a voice, proclaiming to them that what exists through that name, which they have by virtue of the fact that they came into being, because the exaltation which has escaped their notice is in the name. The infant, while in the form of a fetus, has enough for itself before ever seeing the one who sowed it. Therefore, they had the sole task of searching for Him, realizing that He exists, ever wishing to find out what exists. Since, however, the perfect Father is good, just as He did not hear them at all, so that they would exist only in His thought, but rather granted that they, too, might come into being, so also will He give them grace to know what exists, that is, the one who knows Himself eternally, as people are begotten in this place. When they are born, they are in the light, so that they see those who have begotten them. Blessed viewers, we appreciate your company for today's words of wisdom. Please join us again tomorrow for part 2 of this program. Coming up next is Holy Mount Kailash, Tibetan Sacred Land, part 2 of 3, right after noteworthy news. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television for more constructive programming. May you find eternal joy and peace in the nourishing illumination of the Most High.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule и suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Нашите предавания предлагат много езици. Моля вижте suprememastertv.com/schedule и suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Vegan makes perfect sense.